Hello everyone and welcome back to Sekien no Inganock. We're beginning chapter 4. Well, let's get to that, shall we?
無数の情報の海の中心に私はいて、けれども私はどこにもいない。優しい父様、愛しい母様。私の手はどこ？足は、私の胸は、腹は、顔はどこにあるの？たゆたう海の中で私は思う。誰かが私を呼ぶ声を。あるはずのない。
Morning at the city skyscraper. Among the citizens commuting between the industrial and city management buildings, in the corridors connecting the two buildings, two shadows stood in front of a squatter's cardboard house, the black cat and the bird. Both of them were runners. Most of their work took place around the city skyscraper. Normally, they wouldn't walk through these corridors so conspicuously. They couldn't even begin to count the number of buildings they'd assaulted in the past. They were able to stay still right now because they didn't stand out so much. Their clothes were armored, yet easily movable in. There were many industrialists who wore armor, reconstructed cloaks. Being armed and on one's guard wasn't that unusual. Money gathered there, so naturally danger gathered there too. That was why they found it so easy to blend in with the crowd. Most of all, today there were rather conspicuous entities standing very close to them.
また随分と曖昧な依頼もあったもんだ。
文句垂れてんじゃないの？鳥は嫌なこと忘れるのが特技でしょうが。
うるせえよ黒猫。こちとの脳みそは最悪なことに元のままだ。
何その言い方。私が頭の中まで猫みたいな。
違ったか？
違わないけどさ。
But even the black cat could remember her assignments. Discover the cause of the abnormal distribution of energy. That was city management's request. Rare things did happen. City management inherited its administration rights from the upper tier, so they were usually the runner's enemies. Whenever these two assaulted the information storehouse or vault, they were seen as enemies, or perhaps as just targets.
とりあえず生き延びることだけ考えよっか。あんまり前へ出ると流れ弾食らう。
違いね。案内止まりだ。せいぜい連中を見物させてもらうぜ。
私はパス、見物しない。連中見てるとイライラするのさ。
She glanced behind her, a sea of steel armor, defensive equation tattoos carved into each one. They resembled noble tattoos, fully armed upper-tier soldiers. Normally, they'd be running the moment they saw them. Emotionless, half-mechanical soldiers who guarded the city management and upper-tier facilities. Though they were originally designed just to protect the upper-tier itself. Upper-tier soldiers, engine humans, sometimes referred to as knights.
どうせあれだよ。原因とやらを突き止める一歩手前でさ。
連中が手柄を横取りする？
そうそう、お決まりのパターンさ。もう飽き飽き。
だな。だが、そううまくいくことを祈るぜ。せいぜいうまく横取りしてほしいもんだ。触れちゃなんねえ情報のレッドゾーンに触れでもしたら、俺たちはたちまち。
平気、そんなヘマしないさ。私たちはプロなんだから。
違いね。
The insolent bird shrugged his wings, a skillful gesture. Atty shrugged her shoulders as well. The man she'd imitated was making a pale face.
依頼は完遂するさ。いつも通り。
Chapter 4. A mirror, even if it reflects nothing. Analysis. Depth 2. Dialogue with high-density information entity. Christ. Within the darkness, I start a dialogue with the creature.
なぜそれが起きたのか。都市計画は完全だった。生産性を内包した人間のための完全な都市空間。そうアワーコロジー、農業、漁業、工業、商業の全ての都市一つを内包し、外部との接触を行わずに孤立しても生き続け、永遠の都市だ。千年王国だと聖教の人々は呼ぶだろう。そうまさに夢の楽土だ。誰もが不可能であると言った机上の空論ですらないと。だが一人の天才がそれを可能とした。大公爵アステア。誰もが彼を信じた。
Everyone.
あれが起きるまでは
I chime in as the voice speaks. Yes, it's as you say. No one wished for the present city. Within my hazy memories, I begin to think people must have dreamed of a tomorrow back then. Inganock. This place is no longer paradise, but the fantastic city.
きっとお前たちもこんな都市は望んでいないはずだ。
お前とはきっと分かり合えると思っていたよ。ギー愛すべき生贄よ。
Ah, that's right, creature.
なんだって依頼僕に。
そうお前さんの指名依頼だよギー。驚くなかれ一級市民からの治療依頼だ。これわざわざ会員前の忙しい時にお前さんを呼びつけたのは冗談でもなんでもないさ。私はめったに冗談を言わないしな。馴染みの情報屋が持ってきた話なんだ。私への依頼と思ったがどうやら違う。一級市民クライン氏からの治療依頼だ。場所は都市マテンロ。
As Eerily said that, he theatrically handed Guy a telegraph notice. The seal was city management's. It was a real notice using an official telegraph. Rare things did happen sometimes. An official telegraph notice in the 7th tier. Guy thought it must have been some kind of mistake.
そんな顔するな。鑑定を小林連中に頼んだが本物だよ。
ずいぶん気前がいいな。
それはそうと電信文の内容だ。なかなかにロマンチックな文章なんだこれが。お前
いくらかかる？
ロハだよこの程度は。
冗談だったんだがね。
お前の冗談は笑えないんだよギー。ほら読んでみろって。
Guy looked down at the notice in his hands. A message sent with an antiquated telegraph. A telegram. Some people called them wires. Now that wireless telecommunication devices were made simultaneous calling possible, telegrams like this were rare. His eyes followed the printed letters, a notice recorded in the form of a telegraph. A request for Dr. Guy. Please come to the number 10 storage building in Ward A. It's one of the high-rise buildings in the city skyscraper. I want you to save the one human being left inside the unowned storage building. Ruaha Klein, who I raised lovingly. Please find a way to save my child. First-class citizen Arthur Klein.
これだけか。
これだけだ。
病状は？
不明さ。その微妙に私的なような文章だけ。しかし割が悪いとは思わないでほしいな。報酬はかなりいい。クライン氏の名義で口座が開設されている。 通知書番号を入力すれば中が開く。というわけで、すでに報酬はいただいているわけだ。さすがは一級市民、前払いだ。
取り分はい
つも通りだ。
君が2割か。
A finder's fee for Early. His normal rate is 20%, but his expression was clearly blinded by money. 20 definitely wouldn't be enough.
3割。
ケチケチするなよ。私たちの中だ。山分けと行こうじゃないか。
4割か。
お前さんと私はいい友人関係を築いている。大学連中で今でも続いてるのは私だけだろ。
分かったよ。
10と言わない私は親切だと思わないかな。何せ私たちは友人だからな。
Analysis, Depth 3. Dialogue with High-Density Information Entity. Within the darkness, I continue my dialogue with the creature.
10年前、人々と大公爵の夢を打ち砕くかの復活がこの都市に権限した。悪夢のような無限儀、肉体の変に年を招く奇妙な流行。巨大湖の上にあったことを災いして、我らの都市は世間から完全に孤立した。そして41体の俺たちが、クリッターがインガノックに現れた。分かっているのだろう、ギー。
あ、
Yeah, I understand. An age of death began that day, and it has yet to end. People are still living by the skin of their teeth. There were so many tragedies. The 41 powerful phenomena, fearsome forms of death that ate away at the people.
その発生と由来は異なるが、今や我々と人は不可分だ。少なくともこの都市においては分かっているのだろう、ギー。
あ、あ、分かっているとも。バンダースナッチ。
This thing drills huge holes as it nests in the souls of the weak. I'll open the lock and go through the front door into the living room. Guy was a bit puzzled. It felt as if his own apartment was someone else's. It still felt like morning. The twittering of the warped birds reached his ears through the window. But that wasn't all that reached his ears. Other sounds did as well. Sounds and a smell. The calming sounds of cooking. The smell of cheap synthetic bacon cooking in oil. Guy turned towards the kitchen. There he saw the girl cooking. Kia was looking the other way. That was why the room felt like someone else's. The sense of life floating through his apartment. It already belonged to her, almost as if it had been her house to begin with. Guy gazed at her from behind. First, he confirmed that she was unhurt. Early had contacted him before sunrise, telling him to come right away. He'd left her alone. Of course, he'd requested short-term guarding and surveillance, this time from a Naga boy that Ati knew. Guy didn't recognize him. A wireless telecommunications device, newer than the machine that had sent the telegraph. He'd used it to make his request of the runner boy. Since I don't know him, I felt somewhat on edge. It looked like she'd spent the past hour without being harmed.
キア、おはよう。
あ、おかえりなさい。戻っていたのね。おはようギ。全然大丈夫よ。怖くなんてなかった。
怖かったのかい？悪いことをしたな。
怖くないです。平気よ。前にもあったから慣れています。
ならいいんだが。
もう少しで朝食できるから。お弁当もちゃんと今日は用意したの。
あ、ありがとう。
いいえ、どういたしまして。 今日は2口くらいは食べてくださいね。
善処するよ。
食べてくださいね。
善処するよ。
もう頑固なギー先生、倒れてしまったら許さないんだから。
Yi looked at her, puffing her cheeks. It made him feel somewhat relieved. He hadn't truly felt it until he'd exchanged words with her. She really was unharmed. He really had felt anxious about leaving her with someone he'd never met. He knew the boy through Addie, but still. Someone I've never met. I see.
僕を名指ししてはいたが、クライン氏、あなたは僕とは面識がないはずだ。あの子を頼むか。
ギー、どうかした？
いや、少し考え事をね。キア、今日は少し上へ出かけるよ。
上？あ、もしかして上層階段公園？
残念ながら高度の座標は近いけれどね。豊島天狼へ行くんだ。さっきエラリーから治療依頼を受けた。第一級市民の所有するビルディングへね。
豊島天狼？
うん。
聞き覚えはあるのだけど、豊島天狼。
知らないな。
Yi was a little surprised. He tried to prevent his expression from changing. The girl said she didn't know where the city skyscraper was. The center of the city. Its heart. Even a citizen's education program taught that. He'd confirmed this before when he glanced over the children's curriculum. The city skyscraper, where the city's information accumulated, where it was managed, and where engine energy was distributed on large scales. Inganock City Management was in charge of the administrative engines, which managed all the lower tiers. In a sense, it was a place closest to the upper tiers. In terms of distance, the upper tier staircase parks were technically closer, but in terms of function, the city skyscraper was. Most importantly, it was the only economic ward. No other tier had one of those. It was strange for Kia to not have heard of it at her age. She said she's heard of it. I certainly have mentioned it.
例えばキアが第1層や2層の箱入りだったとして、家庭教師がつくだろう。彼らは教えずにいるものだろうか。両親の会話の上に出てこないだろうか。第1層や2層の市民なら特に。
豊島天狼。
キア、たまに部屋の明かりが消えるだろ。
ええ、突然真っ暗になったり、でも別の区画の明かりはついていて。
あれは豊島天狼にある管理部の運営に異常が起きてる証なんだ。明かりが消えてから再びつくまでの間に管理部の職員やエネルギー企業の社員がライフラインエンジンの修理をしているんだ。
そうなの。すごく重要で大切な場所なのね。
ああ、そうだ。
Guy wasn't lying, but he hadn't told her everything. The city skyscraper certainly was the center of energy management, but its greatest distinction was being an economic ward. Dirty money always gathered there. Money from exploiting people in the lower tiers. Taxes and industrial profits were all the same. And this girl, she doesn't have to know that yet. He didn't want her to know about the rampant filth in the city. It would surely darken Kia's expression. She'd probably find out sooner or later. Yi didn't want to be the one to tell her.
エゴイストだな。僕。
あ、思い出したわ。そういえばアティが言っていたもの。豊島天狼でお仕事をするって。アティがいつもお仕事をする場所、豊島天狼。そうでしょギね。正解かしら。
ああ、正解だ。
Come to think of it, when did the black cat say that? When I wasn't around? Maybe a half hour or so before morning?
わかったわ。豊島天狼へ行くのね。 もしかしてアティのお手伝い？
いや違うよ。治療依頼と言っただろ。
あ、そうね、そうよね。アティに入るのかと思って。早とちり。
彼女の真似は僕にはできないよ。体が持たない。
Guy's work and Atti's biz, there was a huge difference between them. The work requests that Atti and other runners received meant and contained entirely different things, though he wouldn't call them polar opposites. Both lines of work were matters of life and death, but Guy couldn't handle hers. He knew all too well that the city needed them. He'd requested a runner today himself, but I could never do it myself. Staining his hands red, I decided I'd only do that to save people.
そういえばキーヤ。アティの仕事の内容について何か聞いたか？キーヤ。
それは誰にも C なの？
Kia put a finger to her lips. Guy figured out what had happened. Atti must have told her that such information was a secret. He didn't want her to know about something that dangerous, but it was still reassuring to see her lips were tight. She was pretty strong. Guy heaved a sigh. This girl was stronger than he'd thought. Tight lips were a key to survival. Revealing someone's secrets was a cardinal sin. I don't have to worry about little things like that. She's good at living in this city.
聞けなくて残念だよ。では食事を終えたら行くとしよう。豊島天堂へ。ね。はい。
There were two ways to reach the city skyscraper. The same two ways used to reach the higher tier plates. One was by using the large staircases connected to the tiers. However, that wasn't very realistic. It consumed far too much time and energy. The second was how they'd gotten to the upper tier staircase parks, using the ascending monorail. Conveniently, unlike the one to the parks, the rail route to the city skyscraper went through the station closest to them. There was only a few minutes away from Guy's apartment and on foot. I'll have to let a few trains pass by first. Most of the ones here won't be going anywhere near the skyscraper. They had to wait for a while. Guy grabbed Kia's outstretched hand and confirmed the status of his cranial organs. No problems there. The phenomenon equation carved into his organs was functioning normally. Guy's mutated brain had granted him special sensory functions. He was able to turn his cranial organs on and off at will.
症状不明か。いつもとそう変わりはしない。すべきことをするだけだ。
ネイティ。
何？
都市をこう作ったのは王様なのよね。上層貴族の誰よりも偉い方。
ああ、そうだよ。
どうして王様はこんなに町を積み上げてしまったの？
Kia's gaze was directed upwards, far higher than the 7th tier. She was surely trying to look at the city skyscraper. Unfortunately, she was looking the wrong way.
アーコロジー計画というものがあってね。それに基づいて都市は設計されたんだ。もっとも、その計画は途中で放棄されてしまったけれどね。今から行く場所には名残があるよ。
アーコロジー計画。それも聞いたことがあるわ。何だったかしら。
生産性を内包した人間のための完全な都市空間。農業、漁業、工業、商業のすべてを都市一つに内包し、外部との接触を行わずに孤立しても生き続ける理想都市。それが10年前の歌い文句だ。正確かどうかは覚えていないけれどね。
The ideal of the city plan. Even he was surprised at how well he remembered it. Many of the people in the city couldn't remember the past, because doing so would bring back the nightmare of the revival. And yet, that phrase flowed right out of his memory.
思い出した。 そう確かそうなのよね。都市のみんなが暮らしやすくなるための計画、そんな風なこと聞いたことがあるわ。
なぜ大公爵が言い出したのかは誰にもわからないけれどね。
Yes, no one knew the real reasons behind the execution and abandonment of the plan. The plan said to be nothing more than a theory on paper. He tried to build it up and partially succeeded.
もしかしたら彼はできると思いついてしまったのかもしれない。大公爵は理工の赤学だったからね。彼は数を操る天才だった。あのレイディ・エイダも
赤学。
天才のことさ。書物を読み解くのに精一杯の僕らとは桁の違う知能を持った本物の天才たちだ。世の中を変えてしまうほどの頭脳、それを備えた人々だよ。大公爵、都市の支配者はその一人だった。
すごい人だったのね、王様は。
Amazing, huh? He certainly is an exceptional person. Crack engines in the phenomenon equation, inventions was bent physics itself. He was probably the only human in the world who could create such things.
昔はね。
今は
今はどうかな。
大公爵様はどこにいるの？上層に住んでいらっしゃるの？
そのずっと上さ。誰よりも上。彼は玉座にいるはずだよ。今もね。
The city skyscraper, the city's only high-rise building plate. The city's center, its heart, its economic core. More shillings gathered here than anywhere else. A nest of industrialists and city officers were going back and forth. It stood in the city's lower tiers, yet it was a shining ward aligned with the upper tier staircase parks. Even though all the unfinished high-rise buildings were simply being left to rot, the people worked on unconcerned. This district was the most valuable part of the city, but at the same time, it was in ruins. It's living as it dies, or perhaps it's dying as it lives. Among the industrialists going back and forth through the corridors, the squatters in their cardboard houses stood out. City management occasionally disposed of them. People frustrated with their lives as registered citizens, illegal residents, squatters. If this district was living as it died, which of these groups best symbolized that? The industrialists, the city officers, or perhaps even the squatters? Who was living and who was dying? If nothing else, the last group felt very alive to Guy. Their words held emotion, unlike those of the industrialists, who aimed to be human calculators, and the city officers, who were nothing more than cogs within the administration.
何？10番の諸行ビルデングだって？ああ、あの幽霊屋敷かよ。よくねえな。悪いこと言わねえ。そんなとこに行くのはやめときなよ。兄さん、そのなりじゃ下の層の人間だろ？商会や企業のサラリーマンじゃあるめえ。なら私たちと彼はしないよ。これは忠告だ。行くのはよしな。ああ、やめた方がいいさ。市民に呪われちまうってもっぱらの噂だ。市民か人形しかいやしねえ。
死人か人
ああ、そうさ。市民か人形だ。そこにはそれしかねえ。めぼしいもんはなんもねえ。盗みに入るやつだっていやしねえんだ。おっかない機械の自動人形がいるだけだ。あと市民だけ。
自動人
さあね、見たってやつがいるだけで詳しい話は誰も知らねえ。言ったら呪われちまうんだ。狂った挙句に飛び降りて死んじまう。だから誰も近づきゃしね え姉さん、なんであんなとこ行くんだ？
The emotions in their voices, mild curiosity and intense fear. Their words were contradictory. No one had ever seen the rumored curse. It was just a rumor, or a sign of a monster. Guy couldn't determine which, but information was information. He'd heard all that he could. Guy tossed a few shillings into an empty can on the floor and turned around to face Kia.
お兄さん、こちらにおいでなさいな。ググ、目を閉じて声を頼りに。これは難しい遊戯ですね。ギギ、目隠し鬼っていうの。でも、あなたちゃんと目を閉じてるの？ギギ、ちっけえな。ちゃんとほら、ギュッとしてますよ。どこ？どこに目があるの？ほら。物愛がスリットの中に見えませんか？ここ？あ、そこは。あれ？じゃあ、そこは。やだ、もうお嬢さんったら。
An engine spirit in a tier this high. I'm a little surprised. She always seemed to find someone to play with, but they couldn't afford to waste any time. Guy cleared his throat.
ごめんなさい。あの子、遊びたそうにしていたから。
いや、せかしてしまってすまないね。エンジン精霊の表情がわかるのかい？彼らの鉄の顔で？
わかるわ。え？ジーニはわからないの？
どうかな。
ああ、わからないのね。ダメよ、ギー。人の顔はよく見なきゃ。
People's faces, huh? She makes no distinction between humans and engine spirits. If anyone else had said that, Guy would have just shrugged his shoulders, but he didn't. He softly replied, "You're right," and took Kia's hand. They were heading for the number 10 storage building in Ward A. Ward A number 10. The building isn't locked. This was the place Mr. Klein had indicated. For a high-rise building, it was rather small. A large iron door had been left unlocked. When Guy stepped in front of it, it opened automatically. From Guy's observations, the building had been over 10 years old. It was a little weird for a structure that old to have an automatic door. Automatic doors were engine-made products first sold 6 years ago. That meant Mr. Arthur Klein had renovated the place within the past 6 years. When they entered the building, they were met with a large space lacking any signs of life. Kia coughed, probably because of the dust. An information storage building, a place where informative publications accumulated. It seemed to symbolize a certain aspect of the city skyscraper. Countless bookshelves spread out before them. A library. No, not that. A storehouse of information. Information in the form of books. The entire building was filled with bookshelves. It was splendid, in a way. However, it was also unsettling. It was certainly a building made by humans, but no signs of life could be felt from it. Even an industrial business building felt livelier than this.
どなたかいませんか？仮想第7層より参りました。もしもし。
Kia's voice didn't echo that much. It was absorbed by the bookshelves. When the echo came to an end, silence refilled the building.
誰もいない。そんなはずはないが、場所は間違えていない。A 区10番だ。情報書庫ビルディングだ。
Guy wondered if he should use the phenomenon equation's eye to search the interior for heat sources. But as he thought that, something came through the bookshelves filling the entrance hall. A silhouette walked out of the darkness. Someone was approaching from the far side of the hall. A single person. No, a single thing.
ルアハクライン。いや、違うか。
It wasn't a human. It was something built from well-tempered steel. It wasn't a human, although its form was closely resembling that of a human's.
いらっしゃいませお客様。うわ
Guy agreed with her voice of admiration. It certainly was beautiful. What finally showed itself was a single automaton. A crack engine type automaton, a humanoid engine machine constructed out of steel and made to perform labor in place of humans. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say it had been an artistic level of completion. The objective beauty certainly suited it well. An automaton. He'd never seen one this splendid before. The automatons he'd caught glimpses of in the first and second tiers prioritized functionality, so they didn't bother to accurately imitate the human form. But she, who appeared before his eyes, could easily be mistaken for a human. A work of art. That phrase comes to mind.
ごきげんようお客様。
Yi looked at her form. The automaton was in the shape of a woman. Its lips moved as it spoke. The voice sounded utterly indistinguishable from a human's. It was well made, and probably a very expensive doll. Its face must have come from a top-notch facial artist. The whole shape of the body had been designed with balance and beauty taken into account. It was incredibly smooth. He could tell at first glance that it was in the form of a woman. Even its spherical joints appeared elegant.
ごきげんよう。あなたお名前は？
The doll didn't react to her words. It was only natural. Even if it had the atmosphere of a human, even if its expression looked human, it was clearly just a beautiful doll. Delicate eyes like a human's. He could tell that they were glass spheres. However, it was somehow out of balance. This storage building didn't suit it. Why was this splendidly crafted girl, this automaton, here, in a fortress of dust-covered archives? It was probably just Mr. Klein's personal taste.
市民カードをご確認いたします。お客様方。
あ
Guy and Kia handed her their individual engine cards. With just one glance, she nodded.
確認いたしました。受けたまわっております。ギー様。ご苦労様です。私には検索機能があります。お探しの情報をおっしゃってください。
いや違うここには人を訪ねに来た
ここには誰もおりません。誰もいないの？ここにはあなたがいるのに。ここには誰もおりません。
彼女は人間の数を数えているようだよ自分のことは数に入っていない
そうなの？
クライン氏がいらっしゃるはずなんだルアハ・クライン氏わかるかい
ルアハ様はお亡くなりになっております。お探しの情報をおっしゃってください。ここには都市建築士および現在に至るまでの都市仮想士が収められています。お探しの情報をおっしゃってください。
死んだ
はい、ここには誰もおりません。お探しの情報をおっしゃってください。私はお客様の入力を待機しています。お探しの情報をおっしゃってください。
The information he was searching for. He was searching for information about Ruaha Klein. Guy had come to heal that person. However, the automaton said,
ルアハクラインについて私の正式所有する情報は多くありません。一級市民アーサー・クライン氏の血族、性別不明、年齢は10代後半から20代前半、生前より健康状態に難あり、重度の変異病に利病していたとの情報。死因は変異病の悪化による。葬儀は行われていません。配偶者なし、扶養家族もなし。以上です。
dead. The automaton definitely said that. Eerily probably would have gone home right about now. But Guy had another idea. He decided to ask the automaton to show him around the storage building. Was Ruaha Klein really not here? Before leaving this fortress of books, he had to confirm that. However, an hour quickly passed. Guy still hadn't found any traces of life within the storage building. The bookshelves and floors and walls were all nicely cleaned. The pod in the boiler room had never been heated up. The synthetic alcoholic drinks in the engine-type refrigerator had all expired a year ago. And, most of all, the washing-type lavatory. The water hadn't been used in there for months. His right eye saw the age and deterioration of the toilet seat hinges. They hadn't been touched for at least half a year. In other words, it had been at least half a year since anyone had lived here.
本当にすでにならクライン氏の依頼彼に確認を取る必要がある
Nothing but books. There was nothing here but books, and dust, and an automaton. Books. Yes, just books. He took one off the shelf, records of the 7th lower tier. Not sanctioned by city management.
都市仮想史の記録か貴重な本だね
いいえ、それらにはもう何の価値もありません。このビルディングのセントラルエンジン、その情報書庫にここの書籍すべての情報はすでに分解・蓄積されているのです。
なるほど情報の抜け殻か
He returned the book to its shelf. At the same time, his gaze fell upon the door of a single room. An odd premonition suddenly came into his mind, as if someone was behind him, whispering, telling him to look.
あそこ
クライン氏の居室です。
入っても
はい。現在は誰もおりません。ご自由に。
Mr. Klein's private room. He probably used this place as a second home. He had a mansion in the first tier. First-class citizens were allowed to live there. I opened the door and... it all makes sense now. Guy sighed softly. He couldn't get any confirmation from Mr. Klein. The man was right here, in that room. On the other side of the barely opened door, inside that one room, Guy could see the only trace of life in the entire storage building. A cup of water on the desk, and a silhouette. A mummified corpse. It had dried up and was nearly bare bones.
クライン氏か
はい。
掃除はそうかこの部屋は命令されていないか
はい。
そうか
何そこで何か見つけたのキー
ここにいて中を見ないようにしなさい君キーヤのことを頼むよ中を見ないように
はい。
何やっぱり何か
失礼いたしました。しかし、ドクターより侵入禁止の命令を入力されました。お許しください、キーヤ。
どこ触ってるのもうやめギー
すまないよすぐに戻るから
Guy opened the door slightly and slipped inside. He began searching for evidence. But this wasn't enough to determine the cause of death. The mummy's heart had already been turned to dust and blown away. Luckily, thanks to the dryness, there was no lingering odor. What appeared to be Mr. Klein's remains had mummified in a position hunched over his desk. His right hand was placed over an engine machine, something he'd touched on the verge of death. An old telecommunications device. He'd tried to use it right before dying. He'd sent that healing request using the old telecommunications device. Beneath his remains was a sheet of paper. It was identical to the telegram. He'd sent the telegram while looking at it, one letter at a time, while enduring the death closing in on him. He tried to send a healing request for himself? No, that's wrong. The telegram had definitely said, "My beloved child, Ruha." It wasn't for him, It was for a relative or a member of his family. He'd probably taken his chance to use the device that morning.
なるほど。あなたの依頼は受け取っている。安心してください。あなたが助けを求めた彼、もしくは彼女。
I spoke to him briefly. Guy left the room and closed the door behind him. He made absolutely sure that Kia couldn't see the room's contents. Kia didn't seem to be resisting anymore. She silently looked up at the automaton.
戻ったよ。この部屋にルアハ・クラインはいない。
そう。
君、質問があるんだが。はい。ルアハ・クラインが亡くなったのは、クライン氏がああなった前かな。前と記録されています。そうか。
Guy didn't think it was possible, but could this automaton be Ruaha Klein? Was this splendid automaton the one he'd been requested to heal? There were very few people who'd call an automaton family, not to mention how few could even own such a valuable automaton in the first place. Guy thought about it. Hypothetically speaking, could Mr. Klein have made an automaton in the image of his deceased son or daughter?
そういえば、君の名前を聞いていなかった。君は R ルアハ・クラインかい？いいえ、違います。私に型式番号は付属していません。私はオーダーメイドです。私の通称をお付けになる前にクライン様がお亡くなりになりました。そうか。
Automatons didn't lie, so that had to be true. However, Kia was gazing at her, silently. She'd been making a lot of noise earlier, but now she just looked quietly at the automaton. As if she was looking at a human's face, intently, silently, as if reading its emotions.
手がかり。この自動人形。いや、他にもまだ情報はあるはずだ。ここをどこだと思っている？キア。はい、ギー。ここで少し待っていなさい。彼女と一緒に。え？君には自衛機能があるはずだね。名もなき自動人形の君。はい。大型モンスターの出現に耐えうる設計が私にはなされています。大人であれば1名、子供は2名まで安全に保護できます。十分だ。よろしく頼む。
Was that overkill? For a non-combat design, it seemed rather extensive. But it wasn't impossible either. There were people who had enough money to give their favorite playthings such functions. Lover and bodyguard, a truly necessary existence.
命令を入力いたしました。了解です。ドクター・ギー。ギー、どうしたの？一人でどこかへ行くの？ああ、調べてみようと思うんだ。この書庫のすべてをね、蓄積された情報書庫とやらを確認してみたい。
Mr. Klein chose this place to die, the information storage building, that was itself half dead. There was surely some meaning behind that, and it should eventually connect to Ruaha Klein. I'll find it, but to do that I need one of those. The city skyscraper corridors. Guy walked with purpose and speed. He thought about where he could borrow that from. He couldn't simply show up at city management and ask for it. Should he contact Stanislaw? Stanislaw was a dealer, after all. Even now he collected information. He was a pro at obtaining things. He could buy anything given the money. Kia's forged registry, information about work requests and the poor and injured in lower tiers. And yes, he could obtain that too. But it would cost money, and it'd probably take a while. That dealer didn't like talking through the wireless. If Guy wanted to ask something, he had to talk to him in person. Time. Over half a year has been wasted already. And yet, for some reason I'm impatient. Ruaha Klein is in danger now. I can't not think that, though I have no reason to. He whispered such things to spite himself. No time, no reason. Then a familiar voice suddenly reached out to him. Was that the black cat's cry?
やあ、珍しいとこで会うね。こんな場所でブツブツつぶやいて何さ。ギー、また顔色悪いじゃない。ちゃんと寝てる？
アーティ。
そう、君のアーティさ。
何が君のアーティだ、気持ち悪い。よう旦那、あんたが例のクラッキングドッグだな。ちょうどいいところに顔出してくれたもんだ。クリッター討伐隊の従軍経験があるんだろ。今日の仕事付き合わないか？
臨時雇用登録者は2名ですよ。新しい方はご遠慮くださらないと。
ケチケチしてんじゃねえよ。クラッキングドッグの後方支援は命に関わるんだって。
ダメなものはダメですよ。本当に必要なら正式書類で申請してください。じゃないと誰も雇ってあげられません。
で、それ何日かかるんだ？
早くて
ここは雑踏街の演芸場か？たくこれだから。
ギー、何ぼーっとしてるのさ。聞こえてる？
ああ。
The voices came from Atty, the black cat, from that young Palace man, and from that Taros woman. A group of upper-tier soldiers were following them. He couldn't believe his eyes. What was with this group? Runners and upper-tier soldiers? And is that Taros woman wearing a city management uniform?
どんな顔してんの、ギー？ああ、まあちょっと説明しにくい集団か。今回は真っ当な仕事なのさ。都市管理部絡みでね。だからこうして上層兵の面々もご同行。
なるほど。
He couldn't fully understand it, but it was incredible luck. So that Taurus woman really was from city management. He might be able to get what he was looking for after all. Atty really did get around.
会えてよかった、アティ。
会えてよかったときたよ。これまたお熱い子ってお二人さん。旦那に奥方さんよ。これから二人で雑踏街の安宿かい？
もしかして旦那様なんですか？はじめまして、都市管理部の。
奥さんじゃないってば。
安宿を否定しろよ。お前まだ仕事中だろうがよ。
アティ。
何さ？
僕は幸運だった。まさかここで会えるなんて。
ちょっとちょうだ。安宿連れ込みとかほんと勘弁してよ。
静かに。アティ、あの職員に頼んでほしいことがある。頼む。
Addie tilted her head as Guy whispered into her ear, a whisper that no one else could hear, softly as if whispering sweet nothings. Whispering, "Tell that city officer I need to borrow an external engine connector. Please, I need your help with this."
ああ、はいはい、そういうことね。まあそうだよね。そんなことだなと思ってたけど。でもそんなもの何に使うのさ。誰が使うの？鼻と耳から血出して死んじゃうって聞くけど、それって。
何のお話ですか？
エンジンコネクタ。外付け型のとびきり危ない嫌な機械。
あれか、趣味の悪い自殺機械だな。アナクロなハッカーもどきが遊ぶ頃とは違うんだ。だな、青白い顔が吹き飛ぶぜ。今じゃ本物のハッカーはエンジンコネクタを頭蓋骨にくっつけてるもんさ。
He knew that perfectly well, but there wasn't enough time to employ a hacker. That was why Guy needed a connector. It was the only machine allowing the flesh and blood human to connect to the information space, but it came with a lot of risk.
必要があってね。
やめときな。自殺はいかにも気分が悪い。
僕はすでに依頼を受けていてね。それに僕は人体の修復には慣れている。
そういやクラック使いだったか、旦那は。まあどうでもいいが。
やめて、どうでもよくない。何さ依頼って。ギーが死んだら意味ないじゃない。契約も何もなくなるよ。
The black cat objected with pursed lips. Guy didn't answer. I'll just be silent. I've already decided what I needed to do. Roughly 2 hours later, Guy returned to the information storage building, the Ward A number 10 high-rise building, a place said to be haunted. He saw Kia and the automaton conversing in the entrance hall. Kia was speaking to the automaton, and the automaton was replying mechanically. He was interested in what they were discussing, but Kia noticed him right away, and waved her hand. He waved back, and she came up to him, pulling the automaton's hand.
おかえりなさい、ギー。あのね、このこといろいろお話ししたのよ。
仲良くなったのかい？
そうよ。キーヤたちは仲良くなったの。この子のいろんな話を聞かせてもらったわ。コーヒーを入れるのが得意なんですってね。
はい。
ほらね。
ああ、味わってみたいね。
それは命令の入力でしょうか、ドクター・ギー。
いや、今は。
はあ、仰々しくエンジンコネクタなんて借りて焦ってどこへ行くのかと思えば、お人形とキーヤとで泳ぎ会なの？
アティ、よかった。あなたも一緒だったの。
頼りないから少し仕事抜け出して。
よかった。ならギーは大丈夫ね。
まあね。
For some reason, the black cat smiled. She kept quiet about something Kia had failed to realize when she came in with Guy. Addie should have stayed with her current biz, but the black cat had simply said, "This looks dangerous, I'll go watch him," and left with Guy in the engine connector. She'd followed him all the way back here. Since she'd helped him borrow it, Guy couldn't refuse her. The black cat had said she needed an engine connector for the biz, making the city officer go all the way back to her workplace. Even with the officer's connections, asking for a second-hand connector seemed to make a big difference. The city officer woman could borrow one of those just by asking. Management work, huh? I'm glad they can get things so quickly.
そのヘルメット、何？大きいけれど、売り気のおもちゃみたいね。
おもちゃだよ。少しこれを試してみたい。
He looked into a far corner of the hall, at a seat which was probably once occupied by a clerk. In the front of it was a reception desk. Guy searched for the crack engine connection interface underneath it. There it is. A connection interface to the central storage engine. Back when there were humans here, calculation and reference devices would have been connected to it. It was fairly old, but still functional.
何をするの？
これからギーはお昼寝の時間さ。エンジンの情報書庫にそれでアクセスしていろいろと調べてみたいんだってさ。
アクセス。
盛況外来語、接触とか接続とかって意味。
危なくないの？
問題ないよ。じゃあ少し行ってくる。僕の体のことは頼むよ、アディ。せっかく来てくれた以上報酬は払う。
はいはい。
頼りにするよ。
Guy said that and sat in the chair. He then equipped himself with a connector. Now I close my eyes, so that my consciousness can be sent into information space. At that moment, that beautiful automaton was gazing at him. Guy couldn't feel any will from it, but still, something bugged him, just a little.
お気をつけて。
He might have heard her say that. At that moment, Guy's consciousness fell into information space. It closely resembled fainting. Sensations of floating and falling. His consciousness continued to fall into a deep place. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're going to end things for today. We'll start exploring the information space once we return in the next episode. So yeah, we're gonna go see if this automaton is this actual person, or if it's actually some other random thing. So yeah, and then Addie tagged along too, even though she's supposed to be doing something for the city management. Odd. Alright, well, we'll see what mysteries this chapter has in the next episode. So until next time, everyone, hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.